So today we're going to be talking about step-by-step hair growth, expert trichologies, tips for healthier and stronger hair, guys. You're looking to get your new hair back this year. You want to get your hair beautiful, healthier. Hey, this is the show that you do not want to miss. With that and more here, guys, at the Hair Wire. This portion of the Hair Wire is brought to you by Hair Wire. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Hair Wire. Hey, I want to say, first of all, thank you guys for tuning in week after week and making the Hair Wire the place where you get hair smart. Quickly, I want to introduce my team, the Hair Wire team. Carrie, Jared, Bisan, Dipsy. How you guys are doing today?
Doing great. Yeah. Yeah. And listening to Bisan's out in Florida and learning about all the snow and stuff that's happening out there. It's been
I know.
I hope that kind of issues, that kind of trouble are not following us here in Puerto Rico. Something.
I know.
You wanted the Canadian experience. It's there. There you go.
Well, it's your fault, Canadians. It's your fault. You left the door open. we have in Florida, near the beach, we have snow, like literally a thick layer of snow. We wake up every day with everything around us is white. And we are the people who have 90s and 100s degrees supposedly all year round.
It's crazy.
It is
crazy. You know, crazy weather, crazy. I mean, I was talking to my wife the other day, about, beach and snow being something common everywhere. But when you go to Florida, it's like, this does not happen. This does not happen. And thinking about the possibility that one day something like that, something crazy like that could happen in the Caribbean. Like, the way that the North Pole is changing its axis every year, it's crazy. I was looking at a news recently and how fast it's moving in the last few decades. It's incredibly crazy. Why the world is shifting so rapidly, I don't know.
Hey, we've been saying that for years. Carl and I met and used to live in Lake Louise on the glacier, and the glacier has always covered the mountain, and now glacier's like all rock. Like it's we've been saying that for years and years.
Yeah. And Pensacola, which is 2 hours away from here, the snow was on the sand on the beach, like literally. Like
I have videos. I had people
water and the
videos.
It was like crazy. I know.
Well, there you go. You wanted to experience Canada. We brought it to you.
No, thank you.
Welcome to State 51.
I know, right?
No, this is crazy. Hey, guys, today we want to talk about the step-by-step guide, on how to grow your hair. So here's the thing. Consider what are the basic needs of a hair cell will allow you to understand basically what are the things that we actually do need in order to have hair growth. But how can you grow hair if you're not keeping the hair that you have? Because a lot of people, they want to know how to grow hair, and they be, frantic, crazy about it. Yes, I want to learn how to grow hair. Yes, but are you keeping your hair? Because if you're not keeping your hair, the growing hair is not going to do anything for you.
Correct.
And we were talking pre-show about it, and a lot of people, they be like, I want to grow hair, I want to get it now. Perfect. But if you're not keeping the hair that you have, I mean, and we see this a lot. People go into programs to stimulate hair growth, right? And they're successful. They're getting the hair back. But at the same time, the hair shedding does not stop. So what good is it? If you're not stopping the shedding, if you're not keeping the hair, what's the point? What's the point? So I want to open the mic for either you, Carrie, or Biz, whoever wants to jump in.
I can step in. So basically, when it comes to hair growth, it's very important, as you said, Sergio, to first of all keep what you have, stabilize what you have, strengthen the hairs that you have, and then this is will be my first step to do with any hair loss client. And then second step will be let's focus on regrowing what you have missed. So. To do both together, where it's basically strengthening what you have and regrowing the areas that needs to be regrow, we first have always to start from the root cause. First step is to identify why you have this hair loss, right? So you can identify this root cause by many aspects. Like you can do like a gut test, you can do a blood test, you can do a functional medicine gut, a timeline. We discussed all these before in our episodes, but I'll go through them very, very quick. In a way that if a client come to you or you as an audience, if you have a blood work, the yearly blood work that you do with your primary physician, their yearly checkup, that's actually very good as a starting point. We don't need to do specific tests in the beginning or like go to do a like expensive gut tests or stool tests or all of this. Let's start from there to begin with. Get me your blood test. Let me look at your biomarkers, the biomarkers from a trichological perspective. When you go to your doctor and your doctor looks at your blood test and you'll tell you everything is normal, that means you are not sick, which is a great thing. But that does not mean that you can, with these numbers that you have in your blood, you can regrow your hair or even stabilize the hair loss or even strengthening your existing hair follicles. So these numbers has to be read by a trichological perspective, by a trichologist, by a trichology expert. In a way, we read these things differently. We want your vitamin D, your zinc, your TSH, many biomarkers that we call them hair biomarkers. We read them differently from Western medicine, how they read them. First of all, we can start with these, optimize what you have. What you have, what like the blood test that you're going to bring in, maybe we will be changing a little bit of your diet. Maybe we will be changing, give you a targeted supplementation. It doesn't have to be very expensive routines. No. When you visit your trichologist, don't think that I'm going to pay money and it's not. It's as simple as this. We can start with you for first step. Give you a little bit of change in diet, give you targeted supplementation. Let me underline targeted supplementation. Taking supplementation like, oh, this is great for your hair. Oh, this is great for your nails. This is just expensive pee. You are just taking supplements left and right, and you're just peeing them and putting taxation on your liver. Targeted supplementation means what you need. What Carrie needs is different what Sergio needs in respective for her regrowth and optimal health. So the first step, if Sergio is asking me what to do, get me your blood work. Let us change a little bit of your diet, see how your diet is working, maybe increase protein a little bit, put your targeted supplementation, and that will be your step one. How much that's going to cost you, Sergio? Maybe $20 a month. Maybe you need a digestive enzyme. Maybe you need a vitamin D supplement. That's all what it needs. So let's start from there, and then we can build it on step by step. This first step, if everybody does it, at least you will strengthen your hair follicle.
Definitely. Now, Carrie, in your case, when people come to you and they are looking, to grow hair, and you go right there with the tools, the scope, and everything else. What are the things that you're looking to?
Well, first off, I obviously as a trichologist, I go and investigate why the hair loss is happening. And because I can start doing all the treatments to start coaching you to grow your hair, but if we don't get to the root problem and the root cause of the hair loss or the hair breakage or why it's not growing, I'm not doing you a service. The first thing is, and my first goal is to stop the hair loss and figure out what is going. So then from there, I could kind of create a plan and create that from there. And it's investigating what's going on, what's causing the hair loss, where is it coming from, what type of hair loss do you have, why do you have breakage, do you have scalp issues? And it's all connected, and a lot of people don't consider that. They just want that quick pill, the quick fix, that quick thing. And then from there, once we figure out what that is, then I explain to them the hair growth cycle. And so they better understand how hair growth works, the cycle, the phases, just, the basic foundation of how hair grows and why they're losing that hair. And I find once they start to understand that, then we can start to create an action plan and be invested together. I find too, a lot of times when I also have a lot of clients coming in for hair growth coaching or finding out hair loss, they also expect me to hold their hand. They also have to put the effort in themselves and make that plan of action happen. Yeah.
Definitely. Now, whenever we are looking at, how to grow our hair back, as my colleagues are saying, we need to find out why. Why are you losing hair in the first place? Because, growing just hair out of nowhere, it's not going to happen, period. Why? Because the only reason why you're asking to grow hair is because you have lost hair, period. Because no one without hair loss or hair shedding is going to ask you, to help me regrowth my hair, unless you have already lost some of it. So let's walk it back a little bit before we even start talking about things of that nature. If something is happening to your hair, then you need to fix it. You need to understand what caused it, and then we're going to be working with the right treatment plan to get you to a place where you're going to be able to, first of all, keep the hair that you have and then start regrowing. Now, when it comes to regrowth, there's a couple of things that we need to understand. First of all, if and when I get my hair shedding under control and I'm able to keep the hair that I have, then we can start talking about hair growth, right? So what are the things that I need to consider whenever I talk about hair growth? Well, for me, there are very three simple things that I always like to mention in many of my classes and my lectures, is that first of all, we need nutrients. All right, we need nutrients to make our hair cells grow. Secondly, we need to make sure that the circulation is working properly. So again, we have nutrition, we have circulation, and finally, we need energy. Without energy, there's no way that those cells are going to be multiplying. So again, this is not just something that applies to hair cells. I mean, this is something very basic of every cell. You need the nutritions, you need the supply by circulation, and you also need the energy. So you need the energy molecules, or if we use energy devices, energy like laser therapy, or for instance, high frequency galvanic current, or even ultrasonic stimulation. Those are types of energy devices that can inflow energy into our tissue. And by providing these three essential elements, we're going to be able to make sure that our cells are dividing properly, are being nourished, and have the stamina, the energy to keep going. Because without it, unfortunately, those cells are going to be stagnant. They're not going to be able to multiply. They're not going to be able to address the situation that we want at that moment. And that, for a lot of people, becomes frustrating because they do not understand these basic needs for cells, and they become so desperate. So freaking desperate. I want hair now. And they start using this treatment, whatever treatment that is. And they wanted to see hair growth like instantly. Why is not happening? Why do we need time? Can someone explain why do we need time for hair growth?
Yes, I can jump in. And before I answer your question, Sergio, you said very important thing. In the beginning, you said people come to me with hair loss, right? People are saying that I have hair loss. Actually, the best way is to people to come to you before they have hair loss, to make sure that especially if you audience are having like genetic predisposition for hair loss, like genetic from your mom or from your dad, that you see hair thinning or you can see balding areas, actually, it's the best thing to do a service for yourself is to visit a trichologist before you start seeing any hair loss, because prevention is the best tool. If you get to a trichologist before this happens, believe me, the trichologist will keep your hair forever. This is number one. Number two, to answer your question, Sergio, basically, first thing we do after, like, to regrow hair, the number one thing we need to understand is the hair growth cycle. Hair growth cycle, we have three, it's a cycle. It goes through phases. It goes through the anagen phase, which is the growth phase, catagen phase, and telogen phase, which is the exit phase. These cycles, they rotate like in different areas of our hair. All our hair, they are not all an anagen at one point. They are not all intelligent at one point. Otherwise, you will see hair, like you will see people balding and bringing back hair. That's not the case. The case is some of our hairs are in catagen, some of them are intelligent, and so forth. The smart thing to do is when you visit a trichologist, the first thing to do is keep the anagen phase longer. The anagen phase, which is the growth phase. And this is what most experienced trichologists will do. First thing, to strengthening, we said that in the beginning, we need to strengthen what we have, right? We need to keep what we have. In order to keep what we have, make them stronger, we increase the anagen phase, means increase the hair follicle being in an anagen phase by hair stimulation techniques, and we have our own ways to do that. When we do that, what happens is, let us say you came to us with a hair loss problem because you have systematic inflammation, right? This is one of the reasons you have hair loss. If you keep most of the hair you have in a longer period of anagen phase, the systematic inflammation attacking your hair follicles, they will become, your hair follicles will become resilient to that, because they are kept in the anagen phase for longer. When they are kept in the anagen phase for longer, nutrients are more coming for a longer period of time. Circulation is there for a longer period of time. Oxygenation is there for a longer period of time. So now your hair follicles are stronger than before. And this is exactly what Sergio said, we keep your hair. We're not in the regrowth hair phase yet. We are just keeping what you have, preventing the hair follicles that you have right now from being attacked by the systematic inflammation that you have and is showing on other areas of your hair that are intelligent phases right now, and they're shedding and shedding and shedding. See? So if you do this first, then you address the systematic inflammation meanwhile. Then second phase, you will regrow the telogen phase, the telogen hairs that are gone, regrow them back, because anagen is here, systematic inflammation is during. Then by the time you got to the telogen phase, you can actually regrow them back. See how the cycle is it? Okay. I love the cycle. See how the cycle it is? And in between here, if you look at the diagram, between anagen and telogen, the systematic inflammation lays in there. This is where we need to tackle meanwhile. So keeping the hair anagen, making sure systematic inflammation is addressed, regrow the telogen. Make sense?
Yes.
You also want to address too with keeping the hair in the telogen phase, like with all the stages. If you notice at the diagram, so if those who are watching, make sure you look at this diagram. If you look at the bulb at the far left, it's a thick, girthy bulb like on the bottom. And then as it goes through the stages to telogen phase, see, it's not as girthy, the bulb, it's more like a stick. So it's very important too. So as it goes through the stages, the girth of the hair bulb or the root gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. So you also want to make sure too that you're taking care of your skin as well, making sure that it's hydrated. Hydration helps with the elasticity of the skin as well. So that way the skin has more elasticity and suppleness to hold the hair longer. When you're dehydrated, what happens is your skin becomes weak. And what happens is it's not able to hold the hair longer either. So a lot of times when I'm finding people with heavy hair shedding, I check to make sure if they are hydrating themselves. And, hydration doesn't mean just drinking anything, pop, Coke, alcohol stuff. You have to make sure you're having quality hydration. And that's not just counting bottles of water. I mean, like people will be like, oh, I drink 10 bottles of water. It's about monitoring how the hydration is taking. So monitoring your urine. If it's too yellow, you're dehydrated. If you're drinking enough and it's still yellow, you're low in mineral. So you want to make sure that you're also making sure that when you're going through the anagen, catagen, telogen stage, it's important for the telogen stage to maintain that hydration and the suppleness of the skin.
Definitely.
That is correct.
Now,
Let me, Sergio, before, sorry, let
yeah.
me highlight something Carrie was saying, hydration, right? So one thing we need to know about hydration is drinking plain water, because our water now is filtered water, right? We are not
Mhm.
drinking spring water like we used to do before. I wish. But this filtered water, actually, it has zero minerals. It has zero in it. That's why it's filtered water. We cannot drink from tap water anymore. City waters are very high in chemicals and toxins. So we actually need to filter our water. However, if you drink plain water like that, just without adding anything to it, what happens is the water, the H2O molecules, because it's just water, goes inside the cells of your body and actually rip them from potassium, calcium, magnesium, and sodium. It just strips them, because this is what H2O molecules can bind to. So basically, if you drink filtered water raw, just nothing filtered water, you are not giving yourself any service. You're actually dehydrating your cells, making this H2O molecule go inside your cells, take the good and the bad. What you need to do is you put electrolytes in your water. Electrolytes can be you can just buy these electrolytes, or you can just add Celtic salt, which is a pure sea salt, not table salt. Celtic salt, pure sea salt, and a squeeze of lemon. If you in a glass container, make sure it's glass container. If you put Celtic salt with water, with squeeze of lemon in your water, and hydrate yourself over it all day long, first of all, you will alkaline your body, because acidity in your body is actually inflammatory, increases the inflammation in your body. Second of all, you will actually hydrate your cells, and it is called cellular hydration. When the H2O molecules with the potassium, magnesium, and all the minerals that you're adding from your electrolytes goes to your cells, they dump the electrolytes in your cells, flush out the toxins, and go out. And this is what hydration is. This is what spring water will do, right? But unfortunately, we don't have spring water. So you want to do your own spring water at home in a glass container.
I like that. I like that. Uh, simple things, guys, that we can do to help manage how our body is working, and by making sure that our body is working properly, we are also helping our hair to be in its place. And one of the things that I wanted to add before we start talking about hair growth strategies is that, and something that you mentioned early, Biz, and caught my attention, because you mentioned about the cycles, that because they're not at the same time, it would mean that if they do, everybody will bald at some point and then
Correct.
regrowth, and it's quite
Isn't
unique.
that interesting?
Yes, yes, it is, and the reason for it is quite astonishing, because we don't realize, but each follicle has its own genetic code.
See,
Each follicle has its own rhythm, its own cycle rhythm. And that is brilliant, because without it, just like Biz was saying, we will all go bald at some point before we get our hair back. And we don't do that. Why? Because each follicle is unique. And one of the things that when I was back in college, and the reason why your pinky finger is on on that side of your hand and not where your thumb is because each finger has its own gene where it should be placed, and the follicle that grows on the side is not the same follicle that grows on the back, that grows on the top, which is very unique, and which is why doctors who do hair transplant, they like to choose follicles from the back of your head
correct.
and to place it in the front, because of the genetic of each follicle. And that is something very brilliant. I mean, I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, so I love this factal things.
I love that. Yes, that is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's so amazing to understand the brilliance of our genetics and the design in our bodies. It's thank you, Lord. It's something amazing. It's something amazing. Now, moving into hair growth, because now I have questions here from our Intelligent Fluvian support group. Which, by the way, guys, if you're not part of the Intelligent Fluvian support group and you're experiencing hair loss, definitely this is a place for you. We have a great group of people, over 11,000 people over there, and they are amazing group of people. And definitely they share, what their journeys, what's working for them, what's not working for them, and we like to to encourage our group and to keep them informed. So this is why the hair wire is going live on the television fluid support group. And someone was asking a few minutes ago, which techniques do you have or use to keep the remaining hair longer in the anagen phase? And we'll be dealing with that in a couple of seconds. But the thing is, again, keeping the hair is first. So now that we're keeping our hair, then we move on to hair growth. And as I was mentioning earlier, there's a couple of needs, that need to be addressed. So you want to make sure that you have the nutrients, that you have the supply by circulation, and that you have the energy. Now, what are some of the things that can we do to address those issues? What techniques are we able to afford, or at least recommend to our customers, in order by doing those three things, keeping in mind those three objectives, those three essential needs for sales, for sales, we're going to be able to extend the anagen phase by definition. Um, so, what are some of your favorite techniques, guys, to work on those three particular areas? And if you work them independently or do you work them simultaneously?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Go
Carrie.
ahead, Gary.
Yeah, my favorite is scalp health. I find we neglect scalp health quite often. And being a cosmetologist, I see a lot of people, as soon as they get the hair growth coming in, they forget to take care and nurture the hair that they have, which could cause breakage. It could cause shedding, dry, brittle, all of that. So, but it all starts with the scalp. And I myself treat my own scalp like I do the face on my skin. And just like a normal garden, when you grow your plants and your vegetables, you need to have a really good gardens like soil to have healthy growth and healthy plants. And if you've ever grown a garden with poor soil and poor care to the soil, very dehydrated, and you're not going to have a really good harvest. So you want to make sure that you're taking care of that soil, because it will produce a really nice harvest for you if you take care of that. And that's the same with the scalp. So making sure you have a clean scalp, not putting stuff that's going to cause the scalp to be dry. I'm not a big fan of dry shampoos, for example. That's a big one. People use dry shampoos, and I feel like it poisons the soil on the scalp unless you're doing it properly. So I'm always educating people on taking care of the scalp, exfoliating it, massaging it, getting circulation to it, tapping when you're in the shower, using stimulation shampoos, not scratching, keeping hydrated. That is one of the best places to start, is making sure you have a really beautiful, healthy scalp, and you will have a return in dividends of proper harvest of the hair. So, and then,
Love
of
it.
course, and then the next one, which is Basan's thing, is nutrients. It's funny. A lot of people say, there's a lot of people who read tarot cards. I read hair. I can look at hair and I could tell you if you've changed your diet. I could tell you what you've done. And your hair, every quarter of an inch behind you is about a month. And a lot of times when hair starts to grow, is you will see patterns on when they change their diet or anything. And a lot of those breaking points or those brittle points are when they do something like a big change, medication, and so forth. But usually it's diet, and people going on a diet where they're affecting their amount of proteins that they're getting, or minerals, that will cause breakage to the hair as well. So it starts with what you're eating. So Pisana, I'm going to give this one to you because this is your field too. So great. you're the master in this spot.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, first of all, as you were saying, that nutrients, we address the nutrients and give targeted supplementation. Because what happens is when we are deficient in nutrients in our bodies, our hair follicles is an non-essential tissues. Your body will redirect anything you are eating or the nutrients that you're having from outside sources into the more essential organs of your body, which is the heart, the lungs, and the liver. And therefore, when you have less nutrients reaching to your hair follicles, what happens is the anagen phase will start decreasing because you are triggering the telogen phase to go on. And this is one of the reasons that telogen effluvium happens. So you need to, first of all, of course, address the nutrient deficiencies. This is before we even do any hair stimulation, any energy, anything. This is just absolute number one. Number two, that will be taking, for example, if you are going through stressful events or like stressful traumas or something like that, you try to decrease the cortisol level in your blood. How you can do that? We're taking like ashwagandha will help you go through rough times. I am not a big fan of taking all these adaptogens all the time because you need also to train your nervous system to be resilient, right? But you don't want to do it. You want to actually help your body to in transition in like hard times to transition a little bit. You take like ashwagandha, holy basil, all these adaptogens to calm down your nervous system while you are working on your emotional trauma or your physical trauma in a way. So you do not trigger the telogen phase. What we are talking now about is keeping the hair in anagen phase the longest. So you don't trigger the telogen phase, right? The telogen phase is coming. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to make it come earlier than it was supposed to come, right?
Yes.
Third thing we'll do, you want to say something?
Oh, no, keep going. I thought you were finished. You keep going.
No.
But I will after.
Yeah. As also Carrie was saying, circulation, oxygenation of your scalp, especially when we are going into through hard times and nutrient deficiency times. Also, our body is just not, our heart actually, it's not circulating blood properly. It is having hard time to circulate our blood, right? So one of my tricks is to do an inversion table. You know the inversion table where you go upside down?
Yeah.
If you are too lazy to go to a scalp massage therapist, or don't go too lazy to go to a trichologist to do a scalp treatment on you, just go to an inversion table, go upside down, let all this blood comes to your brain, let comes to all your scalp and hair, let your blood refresh you in a way. If also sometimes during emotional traumas, we are not able to exercise, right? Because we feel lethargic, like what Carrie was saying, we feel lethargic. You can't go exercise. Don't push yourself. That's okay. Give yourself some grace, but do the inversion table in a way. Trick yourself, biohack yourself in a way. By understanding how we keep the anagen phase longer, you are giving your hair a service. You are delaying the trigger. You are just nourishing your hair more and more. And one more thing before I go, do like essential oils, like rosemary, like lavender oil. All these will not only calm you as a person, it also stimulate your hair follicles and make them feel more alive.
Yeah.
Here, you were saying something.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up a picture too here. I also want to reiterate the importance of you are what you eat. I find a lot of people don't focus on what they're eating as well. So like with the whole growing the hair and so forth, but that whole saying you are what you eat is 100% true.
Right.
If you're not eating enough proteins or you're not eating the proper minerals and so forth, you're also affecting the hair itself. And so it's very important to, when you're eating, to produce quality hair as well.
Correct.
So you need the ingredients. And so if your body is under stress and fight and flight mode, the brain, the hair and the nails are the first thing to go. And if your body's stressed, it doesn't know where to send the nutrients. Or if you have an ailment going on in your body, the body knows to give those nutrients to that area first. So of course the hair, the nails go first. But the thing is if you get that under control, now it's eating to produce the hair and have strong hair. So healthy fats, healthy carbs, healthy proteins to produce the hair. And when you're going through the hair, it's funny, like every quarter of an inch is a month behind you. And a lot of times you could feel a blip in the hair. So if you go like, okay, my hair about this far, about 5 months ago, I tried this bad diet, you'll feel it in the system because you changed your body's chemistry and it caused a blip in the system. And I guarantee you're going to have a breakage point in that hair when you start to grow it. So it's also very critical, not just for eating hair to keep the hair, but also for the hair that you're going to produce. And see here, I have a close up of the hair cut in half, and you need those nutrients to build the medulla, the cortex, the cuticle, the melanin in the hair. You need all of that in there. And the more nutrients you have, the more it has to build the girth of the hair too. So even if you are eating and you're not eating healthy, you're also affecting the girth of the actual hair itself. So if you notice somebody who has an eating disorder, their hair gets thinner and thinner, it almost looks like baby bird feathers, is because there's no meat or no girth or nutrients to give the hair itself meat or yes, substance to grow. So diet is very critical for the whole stages of stimulating the hair growth and stopping the hair growth, and for the hair that you're going to have and grow for a long time. Like the hair that I have on my head, this is what, from like probably this hair here is at least 5-6 years old. So you want to make sure that you're cautious of that. So
yes, very true.
Definitely.
Yeah. I coach people on hair all the time, and I'm always like, eat properly, eat all, like, eat for your body. And understand.
It's not easy all the time. It's not easy all the time. We understand that. It's not easy all the time. But also we give ourselves grace in a way in period of how do you say that? Of stress.
The thing is that you're talking, about giving yourself a period, giving yourself a time. And this is something that, unfortunately, when we are experiencing hair loss, when we are experiencing, the need for hair growth, we don't give ourselves enough time to actually process, what we're going through, and to actually stimulate growth the way we're supposed to, because we want instant results. And in our search for instant results, we go to different places and we start seeing or hearing or even having these different types of procedures just to get instant results. For instance, we know that right now PRP has become a very popular technique. Is PRP good for you? Is it something that's going to help you hair, to help you grow your hair? And I'll say, well, PRP has its benefits. Yes, it does. But is it like the cure for hair loss, or is it like the cure to increase hair growth? Well, actually, it will depend on where you are on the process. And again, going back to time, when are you doing PRP? Because you have to consider, where am I at on my hair cycle? So if I don't have a trichogram to tell me in which phase most of my follicles are right now, it's going to be very hard to know when to place this treatment properly. And the same thing with any other treatment plan. When do I strategically decide to start a treatment plan has a lot to do with, the type of results. Now, timing is of essence. The second thing is about nutrients. For instance, I'm going to be drawing blood. Now, is the blood rich in nutrients? Probably not. So if I had not started with the diet months ago, my PRP is going to be useless. It's going to be useless because I do not have the nutrients in my blood to carry it out the proper function. So that's the first thing. The other thing is that when we do, for instance, PRP, we give a lot of credit to to the rich platelet, to the rich platelet plasma. Again, if the nutrients are not there, nothing can happen. But we are also forgetting about the benefits of the needle itself, because that's one of the things we see a lot. For instance, and scalp micropigmentation, we see a lot of that with microneedling, and we see a lot of benefits of those needling punching in their skin and making a control wound so that the skin will react to it and needs to rebuild on it. So the process itself helps to create blood vessels. Angiogenesis becomes part of the process because of, again, the needling breaking the skin and creating this influx of events that allows our body to react and start creating and start moving our stem cells to get them properly working. So again, there's a communication issue right there just by creating that small injury, and we are creating that energy again. But is the blood supply there? So that's another thing. We also want to make sure that our blood supply is there. So massaging techniques comes into play after a treatment like this. Maybe the use of laser in combination with PRP to increase again that blood flow. So if you look at different techniques, again, it's not about which technique is the best, but which technique is suits you the best for you, for your type of hair loss situation, and of course where you at the cycle. Because for instance, if I have someone with a trichogram that reads 100% anagen phase, is for someone who already had the shedding event pass and gone. Now my follicles are trying to regain some of the hair that I already lost during my shedding phase, right? So if I'm on 100% anagen, then what I need to do is to keep increasing that anagen phase and providing, of course, the nutrients, the circulation, and the energy to keep stimulating. But if my telogen phase is at a higher of 5%, and let's say it's a 20%, so I'm in the peak of my shedding. So if my shedding is high, why am I going to be able to transition immediately to anagen? No, because I need to finish my telogen phase. So if during a active shedding, PRP is not going to do much. And I have a lot of people say that, well, after my PRP session, my shedding stopped. It only stopped because of the psychological factor in it, because of the placebo effect, but not because you transition from telogen effluvium, from telogen phase to anagen phase instantly. There's a time, as we were mentioning, and that time when you're shedding, when you normally shed, and you have a beginning and an end of that shedding, you usually last for about 100 days. And you're not gonna skip 100 days in just 50 days. You're not gonna skip 100 days of telogen in just one day. That's not gonna happen, my friends.
You're not gonna have a baby in 1 month if you get
Thank
nine
you,
months
thank
pregnant.
you, thank you. That's the best example right there. You're not gonna have a 9 month baby in 1 month. That's not gonna happen. It can't happen. All right. So
This
you need to
example
think about.
always makes me laugh.
No, but I love it because it points you to the obvious. It's not gonna happen. It points you to the obvious thing. You need time, and you need to understand where you are located in terms of your cycle, where the vast majority of your follicles fall into. Are they in transition? Are they more into catagen, or are they more into telogen? Or do I have a vast majority of them into anagen? So knowing your trichogram phase, where you are located, is essential. So having a test, having your scalp tested for a trichogram, allows us to know where you are located on the cycle, and that changes the strategy. When do I start a stimulating phase on my treatment plan? Do I need to start stimulation right now, or do I need to just address the shedding first? Knowing that is key. Is key. And how do you folks know when to start stimulation? Well, it's very hard without the proper study. So I would suggest and I would urge everyone to visit a trichologist and contact us at the Hairwire, thehairwire.com, and go to our email address. Write us an email, say that you want a consultation with Carrie, Bisan, or myself, or the three of us. We can supersize the combination and do a full team of trichologists working on your case. We can do that. But the thing is that after you get a consultation and we understand where you are, then it's going to be easier. But if you do not know, what are some of the things that I need to look forward to? Well, first of all, I want to make sure that my shedding is under control. That's the first thing. If my shedding is not under control, then stimulating hair growth is going to be pointless and useless. All right. So, and you may see a lot of people, well, as I'm shedding, I'm seeing new growth. What's up with that? Well, this is very simple. While you're shedding, if you have been shedding for a while, and I'm saying, people who have been experiencing intelligent fluid extended for months. I'm talking about people who have been experiencing intelligent fluid for maybe 4 to 6 to 12 months. Yes, you will see as you're shedding new growth. Yes, because again, those first few follicles that started shedding, now they're falling into anagen while new follicles are going into telogen. All right. So it's common to see that, but that does not mean that you're ready for hair stimulation.
That's correct.
Does it make sense, guys?
Makes very good sense. Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're
And I
not
want to
ready.
also highlight, before we finish this, I want to highlight something about microneedling and PRP. So
Please.
it's very important that you go to a professional trichologist who will do the microneedling for you, because a wrong technique, like the hand technique, will actually make more damage than will actually stimulate the hair follicle. So every scalp health is different, right? So the trichologist will assess your scalp health, and according to that, they either go deeper or shallower to stimulate your hair growth. And as Sergio was saying, it depends on which phase you are. You cannot like lose hair and you start stimulating your hair growth. You have to do it one step at a time. And when it comes to PRP, also the doctor or the PA, whoever performing this PRP treatment, the angle of the needle is very important.
Oh, yes.
They can actually kill the hair follicle or stimulate it. If the angle, it has to be proper 45-degree angle. Like everybody has their own technique, and everybody, they defend their own technique. That technique itself, the hand of the person injecting the PRP, is very important. So that's why research a person before you go. Talk to them about, what do you think about your technique? Are you going to do multiple injections all at once, or you're going to do one site at a time? Ask these questions. Ask how many cc's of PRP you're going to get, how many times they centrifuge. The more they centrifuge, how big your centrifuge is, how efficient your centrifuge is. Because when they centrifuge your blood, if there is the PRP, you know how they centrifuge your blood to get the platelets rich plasma. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. And it is full of growth. It should be full of growth factors and so forth. So if that centrifuge was weak, it's not going to actually give you the proper concentration of platelets rich plasma that you need. So how many times is this good? The technique, all these questions. That's why here in the Hairwire, we actually raise these questions. We raise these points so you can get educated. And when you go ask for PRP, you ask these questions for them. So ask them how many cc's you're going to get, how many, what is the purity rate you are getting. So ask these questions, and welcome to the Hairwire.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Hey, by the way, PRP is not the only technique that is out there, making a lot of noise. You also hear about Alma TED, exosomes, for instance, and scalp threading is also going hot right now for a lot of places. And again, each technique has its own benefits. So understand the benefits of each technique, and when is the best time to do those. Understand that, because again, if you go to different places, unfortunately, um, I don't want to criticize every med spot, but a lot of them they're just for the sale. All right, and they want to sell the craziest, most expensive treatment that they have, right? Because again, it's they want to sell the treatment, they want to sell a product. um, don't fall for that, guys. Be educated, and stay hair smart. This is why you watch the hair wire, to stay hair smart, to understand this these levels of situations and different treatments, and how to properly combine them to achieve a goal, and that is to keep your hair and to grow it beautifully. Now, before we go, I want to, I want to add something, and that is that if you have been going through hair loss and you start growing new hair as part of a treatment plan, why is it that this hair grows thinner, and can I make it thicker? And how long does it take to get that hair thicker again? Guys, this is something that a lot of people don't
I want to answer
understand.
this question.
Yeah, yeah, because here's the thing, you can start grow hair, but usually the hair that starts growing is thinner. Why? Because the hair cycle was just compromised. So a new cycle is coming in, and the hair that grows in is thinner. Now, it's not until you have resolved the cycle, where the cycle of each follicle falls back into its place, then you start seeing that the growth becomes thicker. And sometimes it can take longer before that hair reaches its full thickness potential. And when I say longer, something between the 2,000 to 4,000 days. Ooh, that's bad news, right? Hey, maybe we can shorten the time with the right treatment, but you have to consider, it's all about time. And I know we're desperate, and I know we want instant results, but sometimes, you just got to wait until the cycle falls back into its natural rhythm before your hair grows thicker and fuller as it was before. Anything you guys want to add about that?
Awesome. It's awesome what you just said. Yes.
All right. So we want to leave it here for today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for all the people in the different channels, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and all of the other places we're right now. I mean, we're like transmit. We're going live like in 20 different places right now, and then some. So to each and one of you, thank you for your support. And make sure this information finds its ways to more people. So share it, comment on it, make sure that other peoples are getting this. You hit it, see it right now at the bottom of the screen. Visit thehairwire.com, subscribe, like, comment, and share our content so that more people can get more involved with their hair and get hair smart. So stay connected. We are revamping, we are remaking our website. Carrie's working very hard on that, and we're gonna have a new website very soon. So stick around, guys, because this is getting exciting. Anything you guys want to add?
Just
We
follow
good?
us on the hair wire.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. God bless you all. Till then, bye bye.